So thinking back, if you had to do it all over again, would you still stick with Juice Bike?
I-
I'm Boogie. This is the One Trail at a Time podcast. This is a special episode. I had the pleasure of collabing with a fellow YouTuber. It's EvolutionaryTom. His channel is great. Check him out when you get a chance. Link is below. Also, I want to send a shout out to Chris, Rory, James Bond, and Andrew Todd. You guys have been rocking with me for a long time. We've been going back and forth, bouncing ideas off each other, and I appreciate you guys. Let's get to it.
So tell me, you go? I saw your real name must be Derek.
Yes.
My real name's obviously Tom. Do you go by Boogie? Where'd you come up with that name?
So, I got the name just going camping. I get so excited when out there and I dance with my rhythmless self. So people started calling me Boogie. So I Boogie-N-Nature.
Cool. Yeah, I like that.
So that's how I got the name. But yeah, my real name is Derek, and the host is actually do media editing. So the host is Herbie Dean Studio, and that's actually my media company. So that's that's why that's being hosted that way.
Is that what you do for a living? Media editing?
More or less. I do it for a not-for-profit.
Cool.
So yeah, that's what I do. A lot of little computer stuff, a little editing. Fun for the most part.
Yeah, get your geek on. That's kind of what I did mine, in that I'm a little bit of a technology geek, but to be honest, it helps me keep up on things, forcing myself to stay current in technology. So I enjoy that. That's why I built some websites before, and the whole YouTube thing and the editing stuff. There's a couple reasons I started that. One was I wanted bragging rights for my two boys. One's 22, one's 28, and I wanted to be able to tell them that I made $1 from YouTube. And I thought that was kind of in your face type stuff, the old boomer here.
Yeah.
And
I am definitely still on a mission to make $1 from YouTube. I have not made not one stinking nickel, but I have fun doing it. I regret nothing.
Yeah, me too. I haven't made anything from YouTube, but from the Amazon affiliate stuff, I've made pizza money.
Yeah, so I started off. I tried to do the affiliate links, and I started way too early. I got overzealous and started. Soon as I started my channel, I had like 3 subscribers. I was like, I'm gonna do this affiliate stuff before I even had anything to even think about selling or promoting. I was trying to do it, and then they kicked me off because I wasn't moving enough products.
Oh, really?
And I hadn't, and now since I have a little bit going on, I still haven't gone back to it. So maybe I will. I don't know.
Well, you should have gotten a kickback from my rack and my bag, because I bought those because of you.
Oh, I hadn't. I think they kicked me off before then. But I'm glad you picked those 2 up. How are you digging them?
Good, love them. Matter of fact, I put the bag on my wife's bike, and when I bought my bike, they shipped it without a rack. So I called them. I said, "Well, just give me credit, because I got another rack I'd rather have."
Mm-hmm.
So it worked out well. So I don't have a extra rack sitting around. I just put those on, and it works out perfect.
Okay. So I'm actually, so when I bought that rack, my full intention was to take it out to the woods, which I did. And it worked really well, except for it was just a little bit too small.
Yeah, I can see that if you're trying to camp out of it.
Yeah, and that was really the only thing. Other than that, I mean, I still use it. It's my everyday ride along. I mean, it's still good for grocery shopping and just going around town. But trying to pack everything you need into it for a weekend, nope.
Yeah. No, but I thought it was really cool when you sort of switched your channel over to podcasts and your setup and everything. That's what I told you before. You should do a video on your podcast setup. I think that's really, really interesting.
I'm working on it. I'm still trying to get the wires kind of get the wires together before I start showing people, because I'm still kind of moving things around, so it's a little messy.
Yeah. Well, you got some really good intro music, and your intro is really, really nice. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a work in progress. It's coming along. I really do enjoy doing the podcast, and I was thinking that it's time to reach out to the community, because that's really why I got into this. I really wanted to reach out to people that have some of the similar interests from cycling and the backpacking, or now bikepacking community. And I thought it would be really great to actually reach out and, kind of talk to the people that actually follow me and figure out, what am I doing right and what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
So, and I was watching your video the other day on your hair cutting, and I was like, I can't do that, but I can buzz cut myself all day.
Yeah. I tell you, you cannot. I think that one video I got, I tell you. So I got contacted by the makers of Floby. They're companies down in Texas, and they said, "Hey, we love your social distancing video." And I said, "Well, do you guys have an affiliate program?" And they go, "No, sorry, we don't. But we're going to refund you your money on that Floby."
Nice.
And we want, and would you let us use it on our new website that we're designing right now? I said, "Yeah, sure, go ahead."
Yeah.
Really, really nice people. But you cannot imagine the questions. And if I was selling Flobies for a commission, Lord, I can't imagine. And then people buy them, and then they still come back with questions, and I sort of talk them through their first haircut. It's amazing the interaction that's gone on. But it's just fun. It's just fun as hell.
Oh yeah.
And if I'm 54 years old, right? So if they're too young and they go, Floby, wait a minute, was that the thing from the Wayne's World movie? Like, you know what the hell a Floby is.
All right. So it's funny that you mentioned that a lot of the companies reach out to you once. This company reached out to you because you made a great video, and it's a great video promoting their product. But there are a lot of people that don't want to help you out with that. I think I may have ticked off Rad with my video.
Oh, really? Why?
Well, it was the thing. So, honest truth. When I made the video on taking it out to St. Joe State Park, and it wasn't the actual video when I was out on it. It was the recap. And I said everything that I had a problem with taking it out in the woods that way on those particular type of trails. Well, ironically, a couple weeks later, people started disliking the video immediately. Now I'm figuring that one, it's people that have Rad Rovers, and they were taking them out, or they bought them because they were going to be able to do what I was doing or attempting to do, and they felt that it was just going to be smooth sailing. Well, the issues that I had with it, I don't think that they were happy with it. I think a lot of people buy things and they expect us as YouTubers and product reviewers to say things that's really going to stroke their ego and make them feel great about the purchase. And I don't
like criticism,
right?
Even if it's constructive,
right? And everything. It wasn't that I was downing the bike. I mean, the bike was made to do ride in parks, a little bit off-road. It was not, you could look at the fork, and the fork tells you that it was not made for free riding and downhill.
Yeah,
so,
right.
I mean, it's just, it wasn't designed for it. And that's my fault. So when I was talking about that, that was me pushing that bike beyond its limits. But it still worked, and I had fun doing it. I mean, it was still a great ride. Mm-hmm. I regret nothing.
Yeah.
Have you had any any hateful comments from people when you review things?
You know, you get some know-it-alls, you know, that are they when they speak or when they type in absolutes. So you already know, you know, they come from one angle, they think they're 100% right all the time, all that stuff. So I just disregard those things. And one thing I try to do is I always try to kind of kill them with kindness, you know,
Yep.
and let them know that it doesn't affect me one way or the other. I appreciate the view,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
But I try to acknowledge all points of view and
Yes.
give them a little credit. But you know, you can tell some of those armchair quarterbacks, you know, those are the type of people that stereotypically would make those comments over their keyboard, but would never talk to an individual like that in person.
Right.
Right. And I'm the type where I type the way I would talk to you in person. You know, try to have some common courtesy and be polite and all that stuff, and you can still get your point across.
Yes.
Just that I don't have any I don't know, I don't have anything to prove to anybody by trying to, you know, puff up my chest over the keyboard.
Right.
So,
And it's all learning as we go. Because someone could have easily given me a suggestion. I think a couple people did give me a suggestion. And it was great. And it wasn't that I hadn't already explored those options. I follow Bolton's e-bikes.
yeah, me too.
Okay. So a lot of the things that when I'm referencing or trying to find thing, I do refer to him. I mean, he is the e-bike pro in my opinion. And since he does it as a professional, we can call him e-bike pro at this point. So he already had a fork that was more in tune of what I needed it for. The issue that I had was with the brakes, and I think that's where people really have hit me hard, and they don't do it on YouTube itself. They email me. Oh yeah, I get a lot of it, and it's you know, Bolton has the M1s. And I'm using just the June Tech R1s or R6, whatever they are. And I could not tell the difference in between what he is selling and what I bought. I couldn't. And people could not accept that. They just could not accept it. I don't know why.
My favorite thing, like I got emails this week. I bet I responded to 6 or 7 emails from one gentleman who's getting ready to buy a couple of juice bikes, like what I got, but he's really worried about the fit and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I enjoy the most. I don't really want to battle back and forth with existing users, or people think that because they put a couple grand in the bike, then their bike is the only bike that's out there that's any good. I like the new people who, through my experience, I can help flatten their learning curve and get into e-bikes, or maybe what to consider. Because, you know, you and I are further down the line. We've got that experience now. They don't have that. And I really like the people that just ask the simple questions and say, well, you know, what do you think about this? Or I did one on making the bike fit me, instead of me fitting the bike a couple weeks ago. And I've gotten a lot of questions on the gooseneck and the extension riser, and, you know, how to do, you know, how to size the seat so that you get almost a full extension when you're on the downstroke and things like that. And these people, they just don't know, right? And those are all things that I had to learn.
You know, things I had to learn.
Whatnot. Yeah, I just like flattening their learning curve for them because they're so appreciative.
Yep.
They're very appreciative.
So thinking back, if you had to do it all over again, would you still stick with juice bike?
I would. And I'll tell you why. Mostly because I wanted something that was out there in the market, kind of like Rad. Rad's probably owns the average e-bike market. If you look at their their followers on Facebook, they got 25,000, something like this. Far beyond. I think Juice might have 8, 6 or 8, something like this. So they're mainstream. But I thought Juice was probably, second or third in terms of being mainstream. But for me, I had originally ridden the Rover. Just wasn't big enough for me. I got long legs. I'm 6'3", and I rode it in California out in the desert, which was a blast.
I saw that video. That's how I found you.
But I was riding a small. I could feel that I was riding a small bike, and I wanted something that had options. And when I found out that Juice on the Rip Current S had 3 different frame sizes, I was like, okay, that's where I started leaning. And then on top of that, they had the 52-volt battery, gives you a little bit of range. And I thought, since I weigh about 250, I thought that maybe it wouldn't give me any range, but at least give me as much range as my wife's bike, which is the Rad Mini.
Yes.
Something just to sort of equate, because usually we go out together,
If I had to do it all over, so funny story. Rad Power Bikes wasn't the first company that I was going to buy a bike from. I was actually looking at a Saunders.
Oh yeah.
So what turned me away from them was the reviews. At the time when I bought the Rad Rover, Saunders this was their first year out. Maybe they had, basically it was their first year out, and they were having a lot of shipping issues. Like, you would order a red bike and it would come in silver.
That happened to me. Just I ordered a silver bike and came in red.
Okay.
Yeah.
But okay.
With Juice bikes.
No Juice. Okay.
And then on the Rad Mini, they actually, I live in Illinois. They shipped it from California. It was delivered in Utah.
Wow.
So then they had to ship a second bike.
Wow.
So.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, when my bike was being delivered, they actually, I don't know how the FedEx guy missed it on his route, but this big bike box, he seemed to pass it over, and he had to come back and bring it back to me. It was towards the end of the day. I took off work to receive this bike because I was that juiced up about riding. I took off work and everything.
Yeah, I bet the UPS guys, FedEx, they hate these bikes. They know what those boxes look like now. They know they're going to pick up a 80, 90-pound box.
Yep.
I'm surprised he saved it to the end of the day. He probably ought to delivered it in the morning when he was fresh.
You know what? That's probably what it was. He told me he forgot about it, but he probably was doing everything else around it, so he didn't have to move it more than once.
I got a comment the other day. Somebody was complaining about, the customer service, and then they asked me about the customer service at Juice, and I said, you know what? I've ordered from a couple different companies, and to be honest, every time I deal with them, their customer service is very sincere, and they want to please. However, I don't think they're ramped up well enough because of the surge, the interest in e-bikes.
Yep.
And the companies aren't growing fast enough to accommodate that. And so the weak link's going to end up being in the customer service department. Although they mean well, they're just going to make mistakes because, there's this thing called humans involved.
Yeah.
And I think they're just growing so fast. That's what happens with companies that grow fast. So it's almost to be expected, I think.
Yes, and I agree with that.
I don't take it personal.
Yeah, I don't know why people. I mean, everyone. We do live in an age where people want instant results.
Yeah, good gratification.
Yeah, so I mean, it depends. You spend a few $1,000s, and I think I might want a couple answers right away too. I mean, so not discrediting anyone out there that wants a rapid response.
But you know what? If you wanted to raise the price of the bike, then they could, open up brick and mortar stores, and you could go down and test ride them and pick one up in the showroom. But what are you willing to pay for that per bike? Are you willing to pay another $500 per bike in order to have something like that?
I wish I lived in Washington.
Yeah.
Because if I lived in Washington, man, I would test out all of Rad's bikes. As long as I should reach out to them and ask them that I make them at. So kind of jumping back to that subject. So after I made the video criticizing how the bike was really not made to ride around in the woods like that, they put out a video with hunters with turkeys or something on the back of their bike. So I'm like, okay. Someone said,
Yeah.
someone saw something.
They got the official
Or
Red
it
Power
could be a
Sasquatch
coincidence.
search team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Sasquatch.
it made sense. I mean, you know, the bike is good. If you're just riding it out there in the woods, it's great. But once you load it down, I mean, I was in some rocky and muddy terrain. It would have
Makes
given
perfect
any
sense.
bike issue. I mean, you know.
Yeah. No, makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So I just think people just wanted to think that, hey, I got this bike and it's like a monster truck with these fat tires and it could just do it all. And it's just not the case. But I had fun.
Maybe you got to go up to the $10,000 bike line in order to get something like that.
Even then, but those bikes are designed to go downhill. I mean, those are now those I could definitely say I wouldn't worry about falling apart.
Yeah,
you know, because they are designed to be put through a certain amount of punishment. But I'm not going to pay $10,000 on a bike.
Yeah, you know, it's all got to make sense, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that either.
No, no, I don't. You know, with the parks being closed like this, I just can't see that happening. What do you think about the movement that's going on with e-bikes being able to go on the MLB lands?
Yeah, I think it's a natural progression. You know, but change is hard for people.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna get there. You know, I think I even mentioned on your video. You know, what did those single speed people say when they came out with 10 speeds? Why would anybody ever need 10 speeds?
Until they started going uphill.
Yeah. You know, why do they need to go that fast?
Yeah.
And I've never been around anybody on an e-bike that has flown past somebody on a traditional, what I call an acoustic bike,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in a rude manner or anything like that. And I pedal 98%, 99% of the time. I'm looking for that. I'm looking for the assist part.
Yes.
Not so much just the straight motor part. And that's me. And I think if people have exposure to e-bikes, then they'll learn and they'll be a little more appreciative of them. Maybe understand. Maybe their tolerance level would go up. But a lot of them, they haven't been around the e-bikes at all, so they're just no e-bikes. We're not doing that.
And I wonder, what is the age group that has the biggest problem with it? When I went to the website that the forum is on, when I went to the MLB, the BLM land website to read the forum, a lot of the comments appeared to be from older people with horses. It was all coming back to people with horses, and they were mostly people referring to the equestrian trails.
Yeah.
So,
you know, I could see that. They probably don't like bicycles already, but they know they're never going to get bicycles off their trails. They just don't want it to progress any further, which would probably add more traffic. You know, if you take, I'm not going on a BLM trail with a traditional bike. That's just not me. I'm not going to be able to do that.
Me neither.
But I would go on an e-bike.
Yeah.
So what does that do for the equestrians? It just increases the traffic. So why wouldn't you argue against that? Maybe it's not the e-bike itself. Maybe it's just the fact that it's going to bring more people to the place that we like to take our horses, and therefore that's a bad thing. That's what they're thinking.
Yeah. Yes. They're
going to run into more numbers on the trail.
You know, so I have been researching, doing a couple of the. So I've hooked. I can't say I've hooked myself up. So I did some web search and I came across a website that helps cyclists find trails to ride on, mountain bike trails, fat bike trails, the whole nine. Some of them are national forests, national parks, and of course, BLM land. Honest truth. So using pedal assist 2, I can probably and this isn't me with having my gear on the bike or anything. I could probably get about 50 miles, realistically. The more weight I put on the bike, and plus I need to lose a little bit of weight, but my weight versus and the weight of my gear, I'm probably going to get about 40 miles, 35, 40 miles out of the bike, realistically. So I'm going to need 2 batteries. Well, here's the next part that's super scary. This trail is 150 miles long. Where do I charge said batteries?
Right.
So there are some things to think about. So I don't know why people are really so upset. I don't know why people are so upset. I just don't get it.
I think one of the solutions could be maybe you give the trails to the questions on, on Sundays. Maybe you give them their own day, to where if they want to go out there, they don't have to run into any type of traffic other than fellow equestrians. Because what they're not going to do is they're not going to make the trail wider, so that so that you don't scare the horses if you go by or anything like that. I'm sure that's a concern. Some of those trails get pretty narrow. But what if you give days to certain groups to where they could have more than one day a week? You wouldn't just want to isolate it one day a week. But here's the thing: bikers can't have it all, e-bikers can't have it all, and equestrians can't have it all.
Right.
But co-mingling may not be the perfect answer. So for those people that are, staunchly against it, maybe give them their own day.
I agree with that. But also, there's a chart of the progression of who has the right of way. So it's supposed to be horses, bikes, people. So technically, unless the people on bikes aren't obeying the rule of the road, which is if a horse is coming, I'm supposed to stop and get off to the side and stop. That's the respect of the trail.
I think I'd want to. The horse is pretty big.
Yeah, but but most of the equestrian trails that I've been on, I haven't been on an equestrian trail that was a single track, a true single track.
Okay.
And that was an argument that someone made, that a lot of these trails are single track. I just hadn't seen that issue where that would be a problem. It's not like my e-bike can do 70 miles an hour. Right. I don't know why people think that they're going to be dodging bullets out on this trail.
And if there's any elevation, you're still going to have to work to get there.
And work hard at it.
Yeah.
Hike a bike is a real thing.
Yeah, it negates a lot of the physical effort, but it doesn't negate it all.
Right. It makes it a little easier. I mean, the times that I have been out there, the one thing that the e-bike has helped me with is the walk assist when I'm hiking the bike up the hill.
That makes sense.
That was great to do, especially if there was large roots in the way. I mean, that was a beautiful thing. Yeah. But
you got to be careful because there's so much weight behind those bikes that you've got to keep moving because you don't want to fall over too much just from lack of momentum.
Yes.
You're going uphill.
Yeah.
Because
it'll lean on you, especially if you got extra stuff. That's how I broke my kickstand.
Oh.
Yeah, I broke
the weight of the pack.
Yeah. And the soft ground, it dug in and just snapped over. Yeah, that's how.
Have you ever? There's a gentleman that I follow and become pretty good friends with. His name's Steve Sharon from Adventure Outdoors, and he got an e-bike after I'd gotten an e-bike, based on my videos and whatnot. And he rides the beach a lot in North Carolina, and I did not know, but this is just genius. And that is, he'll take like an oyster shell, and he'll keep that in his bag, and that's what he uses for a kickstand pad when he puts the kickstand down, wants to prop the bike up on the sand, so
it won't dig in.
So it won't dig in. I thought
that makes a lot of sense. So I had a someone reach out to me. And one thing that I do love about my fails is that there are people out there that gives you some great advice.
Oh,
And
yeah.
one of the things that someone told me about was a hockey skate pick. And it's to remove the guard from the blade from the hockey skate.
Right.
So, and what you do with that, when I was out there and the mud was stopping my gears from changing and it ended up binding, he said you use that to pull it out of there without trying to strong arm it.
So, yeah, I don't know if you can see this here.
Yes.
This is called a muck off, and I've got this in one of my videos. But you can see that's what this is. This gets the you can stick it down in the cassette and you pick stuff out of there.
Ah.
When it gets up in there, I don't know. This thing would mean $5. I don't know, maybe $5 or $7. But it's got a brush so you can clean the muck out of the cassette, and fit all the little brushes in there. But this thing is the genius part because you can get in there and dig stuff out and pull it out from in between each one of the gear sets.
Yes.
Really cool.
Oh, that is nice.
Yeah.
And that's why you talk to people in the community.
Yeah. It's the little gems, right?
Yes.
Flattening the learning curve for others.
Yes.
And yourself.
Exactly.
And yourself.
Yes. So overall, you would buy another juice bike. I'm not sure if I would buy another rad. Only because I think the next generation of rad, I think that they need to make some improvements. Improvements to the brakes. Saunders, for $200 more, they give you hydraulic brakes.
Yeah, Juice has hydraulic brakes as well.
Right. And I think that is a must going forward.
I think it would be neat if they had, like a base model, and then you could a la carte the options after that. And maybe, because they're looking for a price point. They're trying to figure out what are people willing to pay for an e-bike. And entry level, you don't want to go out and spend unless you just got it to burn. You don't want to spend thousands upon thousands of dollars.
Yes, I think that. Wow, man, that's Rad Runner.
Yes.
I guess that was their answer to the Super 76. It has no suspension. It has no frills. It's just an e-bike.
But the follow-up generation does have the suspension now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Juice they got on board with that too. That mopedish, mini bike-ish look. Okay. Theirs is called a Scorpion.
Yes. That's coming out soon. I actually follow that guy.
Yeah. I like watching his updates. He goes to China.
Yep.
Pretty transparent.
Yep.
So I find it very interesting. And he must just put on hundreds of miles testing those things, because you think about it, they've got to have hours worth of testing. How is he going to do that?
Yes.
He hasn't ridden the Great Wall of China yet, but he's probably close.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a whole lot of yellow tape to cut through trying to ride that. I'm not, man. They got some really strict laws when it comes down to that portion of that.
I don't know if there's any Tesla e-bikes out there. The equivalent of a Tesla level e-bike out there yet. I've not heard of anything. I haven't seen any videos on it, whatnot. But I'm sure there's some higher end,
I've seen some people that have put their own bikes. I've seen some people put their own bikes together that are getting up to like 40 miles an hour, 40, 50 miles an hour.
Yeah, as you get older, your skin gets thinner. Too much of it will come off if I hit the ground.
Yeah.
I just don't want it.
Right. Yeah, it's you know what mortality means.
Yeah, you do. You really do.
So yeah, I don't risk it. People look at me funny just riding out in traffic the way that I do. Do you? How do you cycle?
So, I try to stick. I used to do dual sport motorcycles as well, right? Mm-hmm. And I got out of that only because I love riding them, but I got out of that because of being around cars. And I would do everything to avoid it. So that's why I did the dual sport thing. on the gravel roads out in the middle of nowhere. You try to get lost, and I would never go through a city or a town, anything like this. I just get too nervous. You know, they say it's not if, but when you're gonna have an accident,
Yeah.
and it's kind of the same thing on bicycles in that you're just hard to see. You know, we use lights on our bikes, strobe lights, and all that stuff. So I try to stay. We go obviously in our subdivision, but there's a number of subdivisions around us where if we want to go on a 1 hour, 8 or 9 mile ride, we can do that in the evenings. And then if we want to go do a 20-mile ride, I can head out of our subdivision, and there's a bike trail that goes down to our city that's on the Illinois River. I can do that and come back. That's about 15, 16 miles. Or over by Peoria, they've got the Rock Island Trail, and we can go over there and do 20, 26 miles easy in a day, and you could double that if you wanted to. So I'm more of a designated trail and maybe the obscure road type guys. I don't go in town. I don't shop with it. Pick up groceries, because the way I got to get down there, there's no shoulder on the road. I'm not willing to risk that.
I understand that. I definitely understand that. Definitely understand that.
I trust myself. I just don't trust them. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And they're big.
Exactly.
They're bigger, so they're going to win.
Yeah, all the time. So I tend to try to ride certain times of the day, and mostly during, I guess it would be school hours.
Oh.
So traffic isn't as bad. So that's when I tend to try to ride. I definitely, I will never ride on a Saturday morning. I will never ride on a Saturday morning just because of the one idiot that got hammered the night before.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Now Sunday morning might be good, because people wake up late on Sundays, and
yeah, exactly.
The traffic doesn't get going and stuff. I'd cruise through town on early Sunday morning. I would do that.
Yeah. But I try. I don't mind it. My nerves were bad at first, and I have had a few scares with people merging over, because I surprised how fast I could take off. So
yeah, true.
So they're surprised by that, and then there are occasionally people that try to give me space, but then I guess they get a little fed up and they want to overtake me, but it's at the wrong time.
Right. We try to gauge. My wife and I ride a lot together, and so if and we've got the rear view mirrors, the side that mount, the kind that mount on the handlebar ends, and we give each other the verbal. There's a car coming behind us, car coming, something like this, and we try to time it so that if we're coming up to an intersection or a turn off onto a side street or whatnot, that car is either fully past us or we're so far ahead of it that it's not really going to be an issue. So you got to. They say drive defensively when you're in a car. You really got to ride defensively when you're on a bike.
Yes.
And that's just part of it. The carefree. You don't get to be the carefree rider because the road's not all yours. It's not a matter of fact.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. So I really appreciate you giving me a little bit of time.
Yeah, it's fun. I enjoy meeting you because I follow you on YouTube, Boogie. So it's good to meet you sort of in person, and then this is fun. I like watching your podcast. I just think this is the return you get by participating in YouTube and all this stuff. Just individuals like you, and then having the interaction like this. And to be honest, this is as much fun as being an affiliate for anybody. I got to.
Yes. I appreciate you. you.
Yeah. We'll have to keep in touch, and maybe we'll do something like this again some other time. But I still want to go riding down an STL, so I've got to get some advice from you at some point.
Yeah, no problem. When you come up this way, we could probably link up, but I definitely want to get out to the trails. I mean, I think you're about 45 minutes away from me.
No, I'm 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours?
Yep, right up 55, and then at Lincoln, you get off at 155. I'm just across the river from Peoria. Because are you actually in St. Louis, or are you in a suburb?
So I'm in a suburb. Well, I'm in St. Louis County, so I am right next to Alton.
Okay. My oldest son lives in Fenton.
Okay, Fenton. That's a ways away from me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a
and
ways.
my youngest will graduate from St. Louis University here in a couple weeks.
Okay. Alumni.
Yeah.
No. So, all right, yeah. So you're 2 hours away. I think. Yeah. I'm. How far is Alton away from you?
Alton's way south of us, so
okay.
I think it's directly south. It's probably 2.5 to 3 hours.
All right, yeah. So it's a true road trip.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. We have to figure it out. You want to ride here? I want to ride there. You sounds like you have some good trails.
Yeah. Well, when you get this all put together and stuff, let me know. I'd love it. And if you give me permission, I'd like to take it and put it on my channel too.
Yes. Oh, definitely. I will. Before I roll it out, we'll figure out a way, maybe Dropbox or something, and I'll get you a copy of it so you can get final approval of it.
Yeah, I don't need final approval. You just do what you got to do. I'm good.
Okay.
It'll be fun.
All right. I really appreciate you, Tom.
Yep. Good meeting you, Boogie. Take care.
You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.